on the subject of water resources, which is very important as well, as Mike had mentioned. We all need water to live and survive. It's identifying those areas within town that need it and trying to figure out the best, most affordable way to get them water.
Brian, would you like me to repeat it?
No, I think in this one particular project, I'm just gonna take this one for example, is dear and sweet to my heart. As a parent of a special needs child, we moved here for that reason. And we know that currently there's a young lady here in town that's trying to build a special needs playground. The town has donated the land and she's about halfway there with her funding. I would like to try to find the money somewhere to help. In fact, about every 10 weeks, I fill my pickup truck with all the recyclables from work that come out of our cafeterias. And we donate them to the little recycling center there across from the medicine place. We don't have to do that. That's just one little way that we can help. I really would like to see that project go ahead. I don't know if there's some way we could try to find some funding from the state or from the town or the county. I think she's only lacking like $20-some-odd thousand to make it come to fruition. So that's my personal project. That's my little thing I want to help do.
Thank you. Next question.
This question is posed to Mr. Lattimore, Mr. Biondolillo, and Mr. McMonagle. What will you do for development in the town? Will you try to lower taxes in the town? From Wanda Baum.
I think what we've been talking about is trying to put together a program that will enhance the town. We have an industrial park. No one's doing anything with it. We'll work in that area to do something in the industrial park. If we bring industry in, that brings in people, that brings in money, that brings in everything. Can we do that up at that industrial park? Yes. The town taxes, again, and I have to commend you, Paul, I said it all in the meetings the other day, and, you brought the town taxes in at the same rate they were at last year. What was it, $4.28 or
$4.09.
It's $4.09 a thousand. That's pretty good. But the school taxes are $31 a thousand. So with working with the school, working with the town, we would try to bring the total program together where we could get the taxes lowered at the school level, as well as keep the taxes in line at the town level. The only way to do that is be able to be cooperated with everybody. Going back to the water end of this thing, we do have the Klein well, we do have the Foster wells. They work. I turn on my water and I get water. Could we turn around and run lines in other directions, as Matt has mentioned? Yes. So we could have water there. Question is sewer. Can we do sewer? Well, one of the big questions that have come up about industrial development was the fact that first and foremost, the industrial development part, based on what Paul said earlier, doesn't have the facility to take on any more industry up there because the village sewer system doesn't accommodate anymore. Well, sitting over there in that Route 57, there's a piece of property which is 40 acres that was designed for an industrial development waste treatment system. So we could do that. Belongs to the village, or it belongs to the industrial development part, on the village. And it sits there. It was given there by the Lehman program for whatever reason, I don't know, but it belongs to the industrial park. So can you do this and grow the industrial park? Yes, you can. If you grow the industrial park, you're going to grow the community. If you grow the community in the proper way, you're going to keep the school taxes and hopefully lower them. And there's no reason why we should be the highest school tax in the area. And I would work diligently with the school board and the school administrators to make sure that my kids and my grandchildren and your grandchildren get the education that they deserve. That's why I moved here with my wife. She said the kids are going to get a better education here than they are in North Syracuse. And I agree with that. I think the teachers have done a super job up here. Thank you.
Matt.
Mike, you didn't leave much else to say there. I think Mike is spot on as it relates to his response with respect to collaboration with the school systems and bringing in businesses. The one thing I would add, it would also be for a collaboration with the Village of Phoenix for sharing resources. Because we have two governments, the village as well as the township, we can do a better job with sharing resources one another. In addition to that, in talking with the mayor, he's even offered their grant writer to work together with the village, the town, as well as the school system to go after some of these federal and state grant monies so that we can build infrastructure and recreational opportunities for our community. And so until we start collaborating with the village and the school system, we will go nowhere. So that's also, Mike, I would just say is one additional thing that we could add to what you said. Thanks.
As this question was posed to both supervisors and town council, Paul, any rebuttal?
They're right, we do need to work together with everybody that's in our community, but it's difficult. We do work with the school right now with our highway department back and forth. We work with the school with our tax department. We work with the village through our water districts that we get with. There is some issues that need to be taken care of in both aspects, but the town does work with both of them now.
Can
Ryan?
you repeat that, please? A lot of us couldn't hear you.
What I said is that the town does work with both the school and the village now. We have water districts that we work with the school with. We have water districts that we work with the village. We work with the school with collection of their taxes. Our highway department works with the school with salt storage and sand storage, and they come and pick it up here. And we work back and forth borrowing equipment through the school. And the school, we do things like we ran the brush hog down for the school this summer along the track. We do have cooperation with the town and the other entities right now. We need more though.
Ryan?
I have to go along with what Matt said. We've had meetings with the mayor of Phoenix, and one of his biggest concerns is he feels that the village doesn't have a voice in the town. I've also spoken to people that are on the school board recently, and they say similar things. They're not having communication with the town. One thing that we want to change onto the town board is to have that open communication. We want to be able, as Matt said, to share the resources of the town. You shouldn't have to build 2 salt sheds because, one guy doesn't want to take somebody else's truck to go get it. It's just one example, but I think there needs to be a better communication between all the entities in this town. The village is part of the town is part of the village, and it seems like nobody's talking to each other. That's one thing we definitely will try to do is have better communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Next question is directed to Mr. Nugent. You have some 200-yard signs up. We hope they come down as soon as they went up. It was posed by John Kemper. I don't think we'll get an answer.
Mr. Lattimore, this is from Susan Lynch. What have been the chief barriers to development in this community?
I think that one of the chief barriers to development in this community, again, is we don't talk with each other. I asked the question the other day, and again, industrial development needs to be done. We have a place out there, and there isn't any industrial development being done. Industrial development brings in people. Industry won't come in here unless the school district's good, and if there's no recreation, industry won't come in here, because it knows it has to bring its own people in, and those things don't exist if you don't have money to make them work. We cut the community service budget. I think they turned around and put something back into the community service budget. You need these things. but there's no cooperation. Last meeting I was at, I asked the question of the town board, when was Mike Treadwell, who is the industrial development leader, making a lot of money at this building here, other than when he brought the buy-in people here in some way, shape, form, or manner? When was he here last? And no one gave me an answer. If I'm elected to the supervisor position, because that property is within my town and within your town, he will be here to answer to me and to the board and to you. What's he doing? Now, if he's not doing anything, just tell us. If you can't go get industry, just tell us, so that we can turn around and try to figure out how to go get it. I again use this fellow right here that I met in a coffee shop. Now, you be quiet over there, John. Huh? You don't, John, be quiet, I got 3 minutes.
You have a minute and a half.
I got a minute and a half. But these are the things that have to be done. You have to go out, you have to find people. You have to search them out. You have to sit down and try to figure out, what does this community need? And how do you do it? You got an industrial park. Let's make sure everybody knows it's there. Now, we also have the rivers. I mean, what are we doing with the rivers? Anything? We need to have recreation on those rivers in some way, shape, form, or manner. Now, we have the Village of Phoenix within the town. We should be putting out fishing docks off the island out there. We should be working with the Village of Phoenix and the town to make those things happen, because they bring in people. Thank you, John.
Paul, any rebuttal?
The biggest barrier that's holding this town back is infrastructure, that we have none. And it's the same thing with industrial park. We need infrastructure in the industrial park to be able to attract the industry here. It's at max right now, and nothing can be built there because of the infrastructure. We're being held hostage by the village.
Now, can I answer that?
No, can't go back and forth.
Okay.
Next question. This is to Ryan Johnson. What is your address and for how long? Question posed by John Campanos.
I have resided at 1203 County Route 12 for about 9 years now. We moved out here in 2003. For anybody who's ever driven down Route 12 going towards the Red Onion Mini Mart, we're the first farm on the left just prior to the big power lines. We bought the old Galonio farm, which was, I think, the Avery farm before that, for those folks who know it. And my wife and I have a rescue farm. So if anybody wants to stop in and feed a goat or pet a donkey, you're more than welcome to.
Or guinea pig.
Or take a guinea pig.
I don't think there's any rebuttal to that, Matt.
Well, I don't have any goats or donkeys, but I have 3 children, so anybody that would like to babysit any night of the week, stop in. Just need 3 references and you should be good to go.
This question is for Paul Kassler. What has happened to the proposed development of the Huntley Road housing? Linda Restuccio.
Huntley Road housing. The people that had bought that property, P&L Properties had purchased it and planned on a housing development for it. But they are an investment firm with investment people, and the people, when the market turned south, the investors wanted part of their money back and P&L didn't have it for them, so they put the money back, or the property back up on the market and abandoned their plans.
Mike, any rebuttal to that?
Well, the Huntley Road property is over by the OTB over there, and it sits up on the hill. I don't know what the problem with it is, other than the fact that it's a nice piece of property, and should we look at it and find somebody else that would buy it and work with it? Are we able to work with them? We got a water line out there that comes out of the village. I don't know if we've got a sewer capability to it, but we could possibly get a sewer capability. And that goes back to the industrial park. Now, the industrial park in this town, as much as I know, John, you don't believe me, has a 40-acre lot that's set aside for waste. Now, if we're gonna build out there, we better sit down and figure out whether we can take care of the waste. And the waste itself, we got the land, it's available, and it was set up for that particular area. The dilemma you'd have is water. And the water from the village could possibly be okay. Now, we have a water tower out there, and no one has addressed that thing yet. The water tower belongs to the town, and there's about $500,000 or more. And who the hell's gonna pay for that to get that fixed? I'm not sure, but I think it's that water district that runs from the industrial park down to the school district. And that's about $500,000, am I correct, Paul?
It's a little, to paint inside and out is $300,000.
All right, $300,000. Now, $300,000, what do we get out of the $300,000 that makes it work? Somebody better question the industrial park.
30 seconds.
And in that process, those are the things that I will question. I will turn around and I will make sure that the industrial park, with my buddy Mike Treadwell, and I like Mike Treadwell, he's a nice guy, but he has not done the things we need to have done. And then water tower up there, if we're gonna spend $300,000 not to get anything, and put it back on the taxpayers in that water district, take it down. Find out how long he'll let you do that without coming in and helping you. Thank you.
This is the last question we have on the table. Does anybody else have any more cards out there they'd like to hand up? This last question is directed to an empty seat to Mr. Nugent. Question: what are your ideas for new businesses in the area? Question posed by Joanne Blanchard. Obviously, no answer. That is the end for this. Another question, sir? Before we take this question, I would like to just explain what will happen next. There are other candidates in the room. We would like to give them each 3 minutes to introduce themselves to the people that have come out tonight. Is Steve Kompisky here? Yes? No? John Brandt? John is here. Karen Brandt? Darlene Owen? And Amy Davis. After we do this last question, we'll give you each 3 minutes for anything that you'd like to say.
This is a question for the supervisor candidates from Will Enser. What benefit do you see with the railroad line through town?
Paul?
The benefit with the railroad, it's just like the highway, the river, the railroad, we're a perfect spot for industry. For people to be able to move their products cheaply, the railroad is the cheapest way to do it, and it's an asset to this town that we have that runs right through the industrial park. We did have a business looking at that 2 years ago because of the rail line.
Mike?
I have to agree with Paul on that particular subject, the railroad. I know it's a pain sometimes because of the fact that I live down the road from the railroad and I hear it going up and going down. More so now because they have the industrial park up there in Riverview that has the ethanol plant there. They're hauling corn in and corn out and ethanol in and out. And in the middle of the night, they blow their whistles and sometimes I wake up. But I probably had to get up anyways. At my age, you have to get up 3 times. just to make sure that everything is working right. But the point is, again, it goes back to the big issue that you have a railroad that's within the proximity, and if you go over to the industrial park, you'll find that there's a setup there that they can turn around and build a facility right there to take care of the industrial park. So from a sales standpoint, if you're gonna try to sell this industrial park, it works perfect. And it's a good asset for this community. I agree with Paul on that issue. Thank you.
At the moment, that is the end of the questions that we have on the table. What I would like to do now is invite Darlene Owens up and see if she would like to introduce herself to the group this evening.
Hi, I'm Darlene Owens. As you all know, I'm town clerk. I've lived here in the community for 25 years. I have 2 married boys, 2 single girls, one graduating from college in December, Oswego State. I worked for Marine Midland, started that in 1990, and I believe in 1997 I came to the Phoenix Marine Midland, and then when they were going to close down, I had an option of going to Great Northern or up to Fulton, but then Deputy Town Clerk came up here and I decided to stay because you residents and knew I was going to miss you, so here I am now, Town Clerk. So, that's all.
And is Amy Davis here? John Brandt? Would you like to say a few words? Running for town justice.
Before I begin my 3 minutes, I am going to direct the moderators to put the timer away because I don't do anything in 3 minutes.
As everyone else tonight, you'll be held to 3 minutes.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to overrule that.
I hope I don't stand before you.
And so do I. I think this is a great opportunity for the people of this community to get an idea of what the people who want to run this town government are all about. I take my hat off to the organizers of this debate. I'm not exactly sure that I would call it a debate per se, but it was an outstanding effort. I do want to give a round of applause to our 2 moderators who are here. They were able to keep some of these people that I know are not short-winded under wraps, and I appreciate that as a citizen of the community.
Shoot, that gets you an extra 30 seconds.
I know how to butter you up, Steve. I cut my judicial teeth here 20-some years ago when I served 2 terms as a town judge here in the town of Schroeppel. I went on to serve as the acting city court judges in the city of Fulton and the city of Oswego, after which I was elected to the county court bench here in Oswego County, and approximately 18 months after I was elected to that position, I was appointed by the administrative judge and the appellate division as an acting Supreme Court justice, where I remained for 10 years. I remained within the court system for an additional 10 years before I retired last year, and when Fran Chardulo, who actually took my place when I left, was required to leave early, I was approached to fill out her term, and I agreed to do that, but unfortunately the Board of Elections decided that instead of filling out a year and a half of her term, they made the position a 4-year term. And shortly thereafter, Judge Burton announced his retirement, and my daughter, who has got about 10 or 11 years under her belt, is a
30 seconds.
I'm speaking for my daughter as well. She was
Have a judicial gavel.
So the 2 of us running, we have been thankfully endorsed by both the Republican and the Democratic parties, but we don't take that endorsement lightly. We recognize the obligation we have. There's one last thing that I need to say to the people of this community.
Quickly.
All right. There's been a lot of discussion in the recent past, not only at the town level, but also at the village level, wherein it appears that the governing bodies believe that the judicial system should be a revenue generator. And I can tell you that's probably the fastest way that a judge can find himself before the Stearns Commission for judicial misconduct. Basic tenet of the judiciary is to judge every case on its own merits, and should there be a conviction or a need for some sort of penalty to be imposed, you have to determine it based upon that particular facts of the case and the person who has been convicted of the crime. Judges' offices are not designed to increase revenue within the community. And I think that we're going the wrong way if we're going to try to make the town courts earn money for the community. That's not the way it's done. Thank you.
The intent was to run this till 9 o'clock. We certainly don't have to do that and won't. Are there any questions left from the floor, or should we go to the closing statements? Yes, sir.
My name is Paul Remington. It's for all you candidates. I want to know what you're going to do to communicate better with the public on issues that seem to be buried until we come to one of your meetings.
Mind starting, Paul?
I think the best way to educate the public, and I do it.
Time. You'd like the question repeated?
Perhaps the moderator would repeat the question with the mic.
Would you come up and do it through the, because I don't want to misspeak for you, sir.
Well, I'm glad. My question is to all the candidates, is I want to know how they're going to inform the public on issues that have been buried until we happen to come to a meeting and find out they're trying to do something. I think that everything should be public and brought forth, and I want an answer from each one of the candidates.
Paul?
Our board meetings are always open to the public, and everything is done in a board meeting. The thing that I can see that can be done better, as we do it right now, is to do more online, have more than meeting minutes posted online on the town website, and that's, or in the paper.
Could I add one more thing, please? What is the official paper of the town of Schroeppel?
The official paper is the Post Standard and the Phoenix Register, the Valley News.
Okay, so my feeling it should be in there because there's a lot of people in our community that's computer illiterate.
We do have our legals in the Post Standard. All our legals are in the Post Standard. And all our public hearings are posted ahead of time, and they are in the papers.
Mike?
I think I mentioned this earlier in this meeting, that I believe that everybody should know what's going on. I believe that you come to a meeting, you can ask the question, you can ask a question of anybody. I believe that's open government. I also go along with Paul when we talk about putting the internet into a position that they should have it up on the internet. Butch, I understand what you're saying. A lot of people don't do what the internet. I believe that what should be done is the communication between the newspapers and this board should be more active and proactive. And if I'm elected to the supervisor's position, you will find that the information that takes place during these meetings or previous to the meetings will be available to the people. I came to a couple of the budget hearing meetings that they had here. It was very interesting. But there was nobody else here but myself and a couple of the other candidates. I believe we should take them out of that back room, put them in here, and open them up and make sure the public is here. That they know what's going on previous to going to the final hearing, which will be the public hearing, so that you know what the heck we're talking about before the public hearing. So I will do that, and I guarantee you I will do that. Thank you.
Matt?
Oh, Paul, Mike basically talked about two of the main things. I agree with both of them. We certainly need transparency within our town government, and that goes back to post